Everyone tells you to simply be yourself like it's easy. But what happens when you don't know what it's like to be yourself, or when life has taught you that being yourself may be dangerous? For example, trauma. There is no room left for authenticity because trauma can take away your ability to tolerate vulnerability, which is a necessary component of authenticity. Therapist Robin E. Brickell says that if you have survived past traumatic scenarios, they continue to replay in your mind, and you are always alert for those that are likely to occur in the future. If you can identify with this, I want you to know that your emotions are real and could trigger a trauma response, which can assist determine whether or not you're acting false because of trauma from your childhood. Continue to monitor. Blend in for security. Mix well. Trauma often deceives you into believing that something went wrong or that you could have done something to stop it. This false belief can cause you to feel ashamed and turn to any means to protect yourself. For example, you might have switched from wearing brightly colored and printed clothing to wearing dark, baggy sweatpants and hoodies as a way to blend in, or you might have gone from being outspoken and bubbly to trying to fit in and be quiet. Of course, there's nothing wrong with remaining silent or dressing in dark, oversized sweatshirts, but if these decisions don't reflect your true self, trauma survivors may feel that they must blend in to remain concealed or behave in a certain manner to protect themselves if they think that they've done something wrong that caused them to become traumatized. Disconnect. When faced with a threat, your heart rate increases and your muscles are supplied with more blood in the event that running becomes necessary. When this happens, less important bodily functions temporarily shut down as the body readies itself for fight or flight. This can relate to only having fragments of the most difficult times in your life or not remembering something traumatic occurring until years later. This can be because those feelings and memories may not have been integrated into your brain, explains therapist Douglas Mitchell. Clinical psychologist Dr. Amy Hardy asserts that traumatic experiences are also dangerous by nature. In order to launch the behavioral reactions necessary to deal with threats, traumatic events activate the amygdala, which is responsible for biologically processing fear. During such moments, your brain had to deprioritize the areas that deal with thinking, memory, and emotions. This was discussed in a 2016 study. It simply makes sense that being unable to access certain memories or emotions would impair your capacity to be real. This is significant because it demonstrates that it is not your fault that you struggle to access emotions. Adoring. Fawning is a trauma response that psychotherapist Pete Walker coined. Walker saw fawning as the fourth F of trauma responses, which are fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. When you respond by fawning, you try to diffuse the conflict and harm they inflicted. Sometimes it's necessary to be agreeable and please your abuser to survive. You can understandably alter as a result of giving up your own demands in exchange for their painful experiences because you were shown that having your own needs or beliefs wasn't an option. Aggressive but passive. Imagine this: it's your first year of college and you rent a townhome with 5 other students. It's been going really well, but you found studying difficult when they have company over late at night and blast music. Instead of confronting the issue head-on and talking to them, do you leave subtle hints that it makes you uncomfortable if confrontation scares you? And it feels safer to be passive-aggressive? This is what happens when you can't directly confront someone abusing you. The only solution can sometimes be indirectly challenging them. Your actions might have sprung from your fear of a harsh upbringing and your perfectionism. According to clinical psychologist Amy Hardy, if you were subjected to abuse by perfectionism, it makes sense that you would be extremely cautious about what you said to avoid causing others the same suffering you went through. Similarly, if you were anxious about returning home from school because you never knew how your parents would be feeling, you would want to appear as composed or stoic as possible. PTSD symptoms may appear as a result of the coping mechanisms you used to survive the event. In an effort to regain control, patients with post-traumatic stress disorder displayed higher levels of socially prescribed perfectionism, according to a study published in the International Journal of Mental Health and Addiction. However, on the outside, people may accuse you of being fake because you're too stiff and unreal. What they don't realize is that, if you can identify with these signals, it's not that you mean to offend. Rather, you need a sense of security and stability in your life. If you had to acquire abilities that compromised your authenticity in order to survive, Your brain had to adapt for survival, and for that, you deserve compassion for what you've gone through. I want you to know that finding therapy and self-compassion can help you become authentically you at any time. Healing. If you can identify with these indicators, please let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Are you feeling that you have to be too kind to people? If so, watch our video, 7 Signs You're Not Too Nice, to see why. We'll provide you more information till the next time. We appreciate your support and persistence.